All righty. Well, again, thanks everybody for taking the time to be here. Jody, especially, thank you very much for taking time out of your evening. We really appreciate it, and it's always great to kind of reconnect after the year with landowners, just to hear, get their feedback on how it's been going and how the experience was. So, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And so, as Susie mentioned, we'll be going over in this call just kind of some common FAQs that we get from potential landowner partners when they're thinking about maybe starting up with LandTrust, as well as maybe some questions from folks in the audience. So I'll read those off as we kind of go through and go along. But with that being said, I think we can kind of jump in. So Jody Dexter is one of our landowner partners down in the Sandhills of Nebraska. Signed up with us and got started, I believe, in March of this year is kind of when things got rolling with you, and has had some pretty solid bookings, I think, throughout the year. Has a 5-star rating. Like to brag about that for you. Very highly rated listing on the site, and a popular one. So just to kind of jump in, Jody, if you could kind of just tell us how and what might have motivated you to get started with us, other than maybe us beating down your front door.
Actually, we got invited by Chris Abbott and the Abbott family to, I don't know, just come and hear you guys talk and tell us about LandTrust. And, Bob and I were there and listened and visited about it. And really, you're always wondering what the catch might be, and we couldn't find one. So we decided that, we didn't really have anything to lose. It's not like you have to sign a contract or anything like that. So we just decided to give it a shot, and we've been having fun ever since.
Good. Awesome. And so that kind of segues into my next question, which is what were maybe some of your concerns, right? You mentioned everything seems to have a catch, and it was maybe a little funky that we didn't have a catch and that you weren't locked in for a 5-year program or something like that. What might have been some of your other concerns getting started?
Right. And, you guys just pretty much, the concerns that we had is, as we went on through when we first met with you, and then later on we met with Mike, basically you just answered all of the questions that Bob and I had, as far as like the insurance and the liability and, the marketing and all of that. Those were our big concerns, and you guys, for a very, in my opinion, a small percentage of the booking fee, you guys just kind of handle all of that, and it's been a painless process on our end.
Awesome. We love to hear that. So you kind of answered my second question, which was going to be where your concerns addressed. How did we handle addressing those concerns from our end? How did we as a company make you feel about starting and trying something new? Us being a very new company as well. How was it working with us? How was that process? Yeah.
I had we not met some of you in person, I don't know that it would have been quite as seamless as it ended up being. But it just, I don't know, Bob and I met with you, and we just felt that everything was on the up and the up, and you're just normal folk. And it seemed like it was a startup company that had integrity, and I guess I don't really know how to answer your question, Colton, but you just get a feel for people when you meet with them and visit, and right. I didn't really feel like you guys were blowing too much smoke, and it just felt right.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, because that's a huge part of our culture, is kind of no BS, right? We got nothing
Right.
to hide. We're very, very open and transparent with folks. And we want it to be the best experience possible. So if that means, if there is something we're not doing quite right that you would like adjusted, that's for us as a startup. We want to take all that feedback we can get and just continue to improve what we're doing. So really, really appreciate hearing that. So kind of moving forward from there, how did you decide with your listing what you might want to offer? I know we tend to, give some recommendations, but was there anything that was in your mind right away, or did you have other ideas? And did you try something first or want to start small? How did that go for you?
Well, I don't know. It was pretty much a given, we have deer,
Right.
that's a given. But as we did go into this, when we first started, when we were coming off in March, we had been coming off of a lot of wet years. And so we had more water than we've had in 20 years.
Yeah.
Lots of ponds and, so there was the potential for ducks and geese and that type of thing. And then obviously we have, grouse and prairie chickens and pheasants and, so those were just kind of the common thing. And then of course it turned off dry this year and, so some of those water holes dried up and we did have one gentleman that came and he was looking for geese or ducks or, basically any kind of waterfowl. And he did not have much success. But we've kind of worked out an agreement and we're making it right with him.
Oh,
He'll be
good.
back. He'll be back again next year,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And, but that's weather related and not much that we could do about that. But,
Right. Right.
that's just how you roll with it. As far as the big surprise was, and I forget who contacted us, I think maybe Nick, about the birding.
Yeah.
And we had the guys that kind of come out and did an inventory of birds and, that type of thing. And I actually, we're kind of excited about that birding.
Yeah, definitely. We are too.
Yeah. And they found a lot of species that actually I still don't know what they are and not really aware of, but
Right.
those guys, they kind of were bird nerds and got excited about it. So
Yeah.
I'd be happy to have any birders come,
Right. Definitely.
that was kind of fun.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. And so then after, we went through getting your listing live, Mike was out there, took some photos for you. It was pretty soon after that, probably, that you got some inquiries or booking requests.
Yeah, I think it was fairly quick. I mean, gosh, I don't even remember now. I should. I could, go back through and look and see. And we didn't have, I don't think we had a booking like just boom right away, but
Right. Right. Yeah.
as you kind of people see what you have to offer and ask questions and you just answer to the best of your ability and we've been pretty adamant that we won't oversell
Right.
what
Right.
we do
Definitely.
have. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully that way the hunters will stay happy.
Right. And I think that's a great aspect as well as, the control that y'all have to maybe limit a little bit more, how many folks are coming out during deer season or bird season, or, if folks are fishing, are they catch and release? All of that kind of control that you're able to have there. I think, a lot of our folks really enjoy that. And that was a really cool thing for us to see, because I think that was, you guys approached us asking about, hey, we want to limit the number of folks we have during deer season. So,
Right.
yeah.
And I
Awesome.
think, after we are through our first season of deer hunting, I think we'll probably make a few changes.
Yeah.
which I guess, that's typical live and learn.
Right.
But I think we'll probably limit our hunting party to, we've got it at 5, and I think we're going to probably reduce that a little bit. And that's just, Bob and I, and kind of the way things worked out. I think we'd feel more comfortable with, probably 3 or 4.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Awesome. And yeah, that's another great element, right? You're able to make those changes.
Right.
You're able to
Absolutely. Yeah.
learn and continue to customize it to be exactly the experience that you'd like it to be. So that's, again, for folks like yourself that have started and partnered with us pretty early. It's awesome for us to see as well that you're learning and growing with it, and your feedback to us is very helpful there. So yeah. And so when you did have your first booking, what was the process like? How did you guys feel? Were you maybe nervous or anxious about it, or excited? What was kind of
yeah, I was actually pretty darn excited because, it's like showing you the money that you're going to make.
right?
And, so that was kind of nice. And yeah, we were just thrilled, and really everything has gone along. And, your communication with the people that do the booking is pretty spot on. And it just eliminates a lot of question and answer on our end, how you guys handle it.
Yeah.
And then they get our phone number and they get close and text or call, and it's a pretty easy process as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome. We love to hear that. And so kind of going off of that, how has your interaction been with the folks that have come out to visit and hunt, fish? How have those folks been?
They have all been really good. There's not anybody that we probably wouldn't have back.
Awesome.
There's just hasn't been, we haven't had a bad experience with a person yet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that. Great. That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's see.
Right. Yeah, Bob is listening in the background, and we've had Pennsylvania, Idaho, Utah, Montana. So quite a wide variety of people that have booked with us.
Yeah.
Or wide variety of location anyway.
Right. Folks from all over. That's always pretty cool too. And it is quite a few of our producer partners will say it's cool to meet and chat and be able to visit with some of the folks from very different walks of life in different areas. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. So what was something that maybe surprised you when you started working with us off the bat, or down the road? Anything that it could be a happy surprise or a negative surprise, either one.
I would have to say your response time, LandTrust's response time with any question or issue, or even getting, our place listed to begin with. There was some steps that I obviously didn't read through to get from point A to point B. And your guys' response time is phenomenal. Probably only one time have I called and left a message, and I bet that phone call was returned within 10 minutes. Most of the time I get somebody live, and you guys are great texting or on the phone or however. Your response time is amazing.
Awesome.
And thank you for that.
Yes, of course. Happy to hear that. And we're always happy to help. So that's awesome. All right. And then I think one of my kind of last few questions, and then we'll be able to open it up a little bit to other folks in the audience and in the chat there. But how do you feel that, is there potential, do you think, for LandTrust to be a long-term option for your operation to be kind of a, a standard piece of your operation for the years to come.
Yeah, I really do think that this will be a long-term relationship that we have with you guys. So far everything has been just going along really, really well. It's offered us, I mean, no, we're not going gangbusters with a huge stream of income,
Right.
but there's definitely room for growth. And we're beginning to meet some of our financial goals when we started this, and I think by next year we probably will, and then of course we'll up our goals from there. But yeah.
Awesome. That's our whole goal. So really love to hear that. And we're excited to, continue growing the platform and what we can help offer and provide to you and all of our landowner partners to really help it be a long-term, component of their operation.
Well, and just anybody that is involved with agriculture, whether you're ranching or farming or whatever, everything that we do is so revolves around the market and things that we don't have control over. And it's kind of nice to, I guess, go in a direction that, that's a boost for you, I guess.
Right. Awesome. Great. Well, that kind of covers the questions that I had here from our frequently asked questions from folks. It looks like we have a couple questions over in the chat, but if anyone has any other questions as well, I can answer. Let me take a look. I think those might be more for me. One of them says, does the platform offer options for more interactive offerings, i.e. production tours, livestock feeding, guided nature observation walks, etc., as opposed to self-catered guest-facing activities, hunting, fishing, bird watching? So the answer to that is yes. We actually just did a pretty big update on the site to allow those types of experiences and allow our landowner partners to easily host those types of experiences. So it's definitely a newer item and a newer aspect of the site that, some of our landowner partners are kind of experimenting with. They're helping us test it out. But we anticipate that will continue to grow, and it's very customizable for folks. Kind of the sky's the limit in terms of creativity on what they can do. Everything, from regenerative chicken coop tours to trailing sheep into the high country in Colorado, or coming out for brandings or calving, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, lots of options there. And looks like we have another question above. Do you have any standards or prerequisites in what farms and ranches you allow to join the platform to uphold the LandTrust product, i.e. size, offerings, overall quality, number of activities, etc.? So, we don't have any set in stone prerequisites for folks. It's very easy for folks to create a listing, get started, and the market kind of dictates if their listing may be desirable for folks. So in terms of prerequisites, if folks have 10 acres, but it's in a great location with unique birds, or, even stargazing, right? That's a huge draw. So every operation or place probably has something unique to offer. And so that's something we see value in and are happy to partner with.
Alton, can you hear me?
I can. Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Rich. I want to give you a little background so that you're not blindsided. Okay, I'm an outfitter.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure how I can use what you do to help me. I don't know if that's possible or not, but it's something I'd like you to think about. But I do have a question, actually several, And I don't know if you folks have to carry insurance. You know, that's one thing. I know as an outfitter in Montana, you have to carry at least $1 million worth of insurance. And I don't know if you do that or not. The reason I bring it up is because if you don't, you're not protected. So I'm just telling you that.
Right, right.
There's other things, first aid and all of that. And I just don't, you know, maybe it's not a good fit what I do and you do, but I just thought I'd bring it up and,
Yeah.
you know, see what your thoughts are. I'm not exactly sure how to even move forward with it, but
Yeah. No, I'm happy to answer those questions and give you a little of our perspective on that. So to address insurance, we do provide insurance coverage for not only our landowner partners, but participant coverage as well. So folks that are coming out on these trips.
Right.
And it does operate a little differently than, you know, an outfitter's license would in the state of Montana. A majority, actually, I think all of our folks are pretty much do-it-yourself trips.
mm-hmm.
So the guiding service and how that's classified does not necessarily apply to what our folks are doing, more, you know, opening up access and the opportunity there. But in terms of the potential partnering with outfitters, you know, we tend to focus our partnerships with production agriculture. So landowners and that own the rights to, you know, to allow access, hunting, fishing, stargazing, whatever it may be, but to control and allow that access on the property. We see outfitters as a phenomenal service provider that, you know, in the future of LandTrust, maybe, you know, you have 10 or 20, you know, you have relationships with 20 listings on LandTrust. And when someone books a trip or is browsing the site, they have the option to add in an outfitter, which would be, you know, someone like yourself, that then would be maybe an upcharge on the booking. And then you wouldn't necessarily be leasing the land, you know, on January 1st for a full year.
Yeah.
You would just be a service provider that would be tacked in. So then, you know, we see that potential there to help your overall cost, right? You don't have to put all your cash out at the beginning of the year. And then a bad year like COVID happens and,
Right.
you know, half, or if not more of your folks have to cancel. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of insight. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah, it does. I was just really curious. I mean, I think sounds like a really good idea. And I think that there's people out there that will, you know, do it, like Jody and Bob. They've done that. And it sounds like they're real happy with it.
Yeah.
I just really didn't know how or if an outfitter could fit in. And then, you know, the other part of that is like the prerequisites or the things you need to have in line to be able to even do this. And I just was curious about it. That's all. More curiosity than anything. I think it's a great idea and hopefully it'll go well for you.
Well, yeah, really appreciate it and appreciate you joining. I mean, we definitely value, especially, so we're headquartered here in Montana, and, you know, outfitters are a huge part of the economy in our state.
Right.
And so we really value, you know, what folks like yourself do. And I mean, we all love the outdoors. So, you know, helping folks get out there and enjoy it is what it's all about for us.
Yeah.
So.
If I could ask Jody a question, and you don't have to answer it, Jody. Were you ever approached by an outfitter?
No, we have not been approached by an outfitter.
No, that's fine. That's a great answer. No.
We haven't been. And I'm looking at my husband and he's shaking his head no too. So
Yeah, no. I mean, I just was curious if you just wanted to try something different, or you weren't happy with them, or just trying to make myself better. I'm not trying to cut in on anybody. I'm just trying to make myself better by getting some answers. So.
I'm not sure. Where are you from, Montana? I mean,
yeah, we're way in the southeast corner of the state, Ekalaka, small little town of Ekalaka.
Yeah, our terrain, in north central Nebraska is, probably way different. Well, I know it is way different than what you have to deal with. And as far as, getting people in
Mhm.
to a certain location and things like that, we just don't have, as rough a terrain as what you're dealing with, but
Yeah.
not that we would be opposed to.
No, I was just curious. And then Colton, I have one last question and then I'll let you get to more important questions, but
No problem.
is there a way that as an outfitter, I could book time through you?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
do you care where the hunts come from? The hunters come from? That's what I'm asking.
Right. And, from our perspective, we really don't. That would be more of a question that would be up to the specific landowner.
Yeah, yep, I get that. I just was wondering if it even was a possibility.
Definitely a
Yeah.
possibility.
I mean,
Yeah.
we deal with lots of hunters that like to go different places, and
Right.
it might be a way to do something good for me and for you. So,
Right. Of course, that's definitely an option. And we actually do see some, we have kind of some similar activity to that, but on the bird watching side going on.
oh yeah.
Right now. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I haven't looked at your website yet, but I'll do that. And then if I have questions, can I just directly get a hold of you?
Yes, sir, you can. Yep. Do you
Sounds-
have my phone number? If not, I can give it to you.
I'll take it if you got it.
Yes, sir. It's 406-709-8450.
You got it, Colton. Thank you. And thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course, no problem. Thank you.
Good luck with your endeavor here.
Thank you. All right, so we've got another question here for you, Jody. Were you allowing hunting on your ranch before working with LandTrust? And if you were, was it, family, friends, anybody? How was that situation for you?
Yes. It was mainly family and close friends. And Bob's got a pretty large extended family and they would gather here to deer hunt. And then how things change and dynamics change and kids grow older and that type of thing. And I guess the timing was right for us to join in with LandTrust. Anyway, we just did, and we told them sorry. But I mean, depending on deer population and timing, if we wouldn't have all of our days booked, that type of thing during deer season, we would still obviously allow family in, but
Right.
and then we'd have family that do bird hunting as well. So
Yeah.
grouse and pheasants and things. So
Yeah, and that's an element a lot of folks enjoy about the platform as well, right? It's not exclusive, so it's not
exactly right.
You have to book every single hunter through the site. Holidays come around and Thanksgiving. I mean, for my family, that was always a big one. Was everybody goes pheasant hunting on Thanksgiving?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
to still have the control to block those dates off is very much appreciated by folks. I think.
Yeah, and that calendar that you have, and if folks are going to be out of town or have other things going on, to be able to block those dates out on the calendar and lets potential hunters know that you're booked or you're not available, I guess I should say. That's handy.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Let's see. We've got some more folks that are online. If anyone has specific questions for myself or Jody, not to put you in the hot seat, Jody, but
Colton, this is Kurt. Did I dive in on top of somebody here? This is Kurt.
hey, Kurt, how's it going?
Good, good. Hey, I got some questions here that maybe you can shed some light on here.
Yes.
I'm not interested in the hunting season because we've already got that kind of tied up, but I am
Right.
more interested in the rest of the year because we still have a ranch that really, the thought of birding is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Shooting prairie dogs is interesting to me because we got prairie dogs that could sure use some shooting on. Stargazing. How marketable are these things and what do we need to provide as far as housing, or what do we got to provide to
Right.
make this happen?
Right. So, first and foremost, we designed the platform to work in the background, right? So we work hard to design the ins and outs so that it works for the rancher or farmer who doesn't want to have any interruptions in their day, doesn't want to even know anybody's out there.
Okay.
So, lodging is not a requirement by any means. It can be added, and it definitely, we do see that it increases the revenue that folks potentially earn, not only for charging a per night rate, but also it tends to bring folks in for maybe a couple more days instead of a single day. Maybe they'll be there 2-3 days, that sort of thing. But even, allowing camping, or we have folks who will allow folks to, bring a trailer or park their RV in a certain spot. Doesn't need to have plugins or anything like that. But that's all customizable on the site for you. So in terms of what you need to do, really not very much, especially for those low impact activities like stargazing or prairie dogs. What we would do is we'll have one of our landowner success managers come out and visit with you, ask a couple questions about the property and what you'd like to see and have your listing be. Then we take that back, build out a draft listing for you. And while they're out there as well, ask where would you like folks to be for these activities or these experiences, and we'll GPS map everything out so you don't have to do any babysitting, any hand holding, anything like that. And they receive all that in a comprehensive confirmation email after you've accepted their booking request. So we start with that, but you're able to customize it to be as hands-on as you'd like. If you want them to stop by and have a cup of coffee with you when they get there, shoot you a text when they get there, when they're leaving, all that can be customized by you.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wanting to know. And I really want to know how much time does it take from the rancher's point of view versus what can you bring in? And I don't want to be really hardcore about it, but
Right.
I mean, time is money here, and we don't have a lot of extra time, but can it be valuable? I mean, as far as I don't want to spend a lot of time at it, but I know we got to have to spend some time. So just talk about time I got to put in versus what I might reasonably realize back out of it.
Right.
Give me a range of answers.
Right. So I would say, in terms of time to put in, the majority of it is going to be maybe a 1.5 to 2 hour visit with our landowner success manager.
Okay,
to gather
that's not a problem.
all the information. And then once we build it out, a 15 to 30 minute call where we walk you through everything, show you how to use it.
Not a problem.
And then after that, it's just responding to folks when they reach out, which Jody, I don't know, what would you say in terms of your time commitment? How do you feel? How much time have you had to put in? I feel like,
as far as on the front end, when we first started up, I mean, I'm not techie at all, and you guys just walked me through it. So Mike was here. He actually happened to be coming through or was in the area right when we did sign up. And I mean, he just sat down with us, walked us through some things, probably 30 to 45 minutes, that first kind of get everything off the ground. And then after that, it hasn't been a whole lot. And then as far as actual time with the people that are coming to your place, it's pretty minimal. Now, you did say, you know, you can have people there and you don't even know that they're there. I'm kind of, that doesn't really quite fly with me. I kind of want to know who's on our property and not, or where they're going to be, and, you know, kind of touch base with them a little bit. So I'm a little hesitant just to have people come in and totally be self-guided and go out on their own. But, you know, I don't know, Bob, usually 20 minutes, 30 minutes with people that are coming, you visit with them and kind of figure out their level of expertise and kind of point them in the correct direction. I mean, they can obviously follow the maps, but, you know, sometimes they get out here and it's looks a little different than it does on the map. But, you know, Curtis, it really the time that we've had to spend on it has been pretty minimal, very minimal for the return that we've gotten.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
You get to go on with your day to feed and do your cattle work and all of that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for those questions, Kurt. Those are you know, great ones. Let's see. Do we have any other questions from folks?
I kind of had a question because I work with LandTrust and I often don't get to talk to landowners, but I kind of get secondhand information. And I'm curious because it is like entering into a new business, right? Were there any hesitancies or worries overall? I know Colton was touching on this before, but did it feel like stepping into a large unknown, or what was, were there any fears that you had to overcome in order to say yes?
I'm trying to get Bob's input across the table. What were you afraid of a new endeavor?
No, nothing really.
Really, he says nothing. You know, I was a little concerned, kind of going back to what Curtis said, how much time is it going to require? And the awesome thing is, you know, you get somebody that sends you a message and is looking at your property potentially to book, or, you know, and that all comes through email. Well, I don't live on my email anymore. I used to do that, but I don't anymore. What's handy is LandTrust sends you a text and says, hey, you've got somebody that sent you a message. And so then you can go in and respond to it that way. So it's a lot quicker than, you know, having to go through email. But as far as a business endeavor and the fears, the only thing I was, and it's still a potential. I mean, you don't know the type of people that you're going to have onto your property, but with the system that they have in place, I guess the more people that use LandTrust services, you know, they rate us, we get to rate them. And, you know, so if somebody doesn't give them a good review, you might be a little hesitant to book them, or you would definitely ask questions or detailed questions. And I would say that was probably the biggest concern, you know. I mean, are they really responsible people and they're not gonna, you know, start a fire or some silly, strange thing like that? But
That's great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
It's very helpful to know.
Awesome. Well, let's see. We still have a few folks that are joined in listening. If anyone has any folks, I don't want to take too much time out of everybody's evening, but, you know, always happy to answer questions. And again, Jody and Bob, thank you very much for taking the time. So let's see if anyone has any more questions for us. We can answer those now, unless you want to save those for later. You can always ask me questions directly, I know I gave out my phone number, and my email is colton@landtrust.com, just COLTON. So you can always ask questions there. Let's see. What do you think, Susie? I think we covered a lot of great questions and got a lot of great feedback there. So I don't want to take up, like I said, too much of anyone's evenings. So yeah.
We had a couple of folks join towards the end. Was there any brief recap you wanted to do from the beginning? And just sort of summarize it, and we'll send people back to their families.
Yeah. So I mean, just to summarize, it sounds, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Jody, but sounds like we've started off our partnership pretty strong in March, and are just really excited with how your experience has been with the folks who have come out, all given 5-star reviews and had a great time. And it sounds like, you'll probably have some folks that'll be repeat customers for sure. And, just excited to get into some of the newer experiences as well with the bird watching as that continues to grow on the platform, and other offerings that we can bring.
So far, everything has just been going along just like gangbusters. So we're tickled. We're tickled with LandTrust and the success that we've had so far. So we appreciate it.
Next year.
Right. And oh my gosh. Yeah. Bob said, we were kind of we were in the middle of deer season, and, just kind of getting through that, and the inquiries that we've had for next year's deer season kind of amazes me. And I just put a message to all of them, and I just said, we're not booking until after January 1. Please get back in touch with us, because I wasn't ready to start booking. I wasn't ready to start that process already. So anyway, but it's an easy format to do that. And we've had people in the messages, and then they'll end up giving you a call or whatever, actually want to try and book not through LandTrust. They just want to do it. And I'm just pretty forceful with them. And if any of you that are on the call or the Zoom with us, I'm sure that same thing will happen with you. But I'm just pretty adamant with anybody that does that, is just, the insurance wise, I'm just not willing to give that up. And I don't know, you guys are doing all the marketing and all the grunt work, and so I'm willing to pay you for that gladly.
Well, we appreciate that very much. And, that's our goal. Folks, we get that question every now and then is, well, can't people just go around you? And yeah, they sure can. Or, we're not exclusive by any means. And it's just our job, right? It's our job to be the best partner we can, and to be valuable and a great partner for you, so that you say exactly what you said. Why would I want to do it any other way? Right. So that's great feedback for us as well. And that makes me pretty happy to hear, because that means we're doing an all right job so far, and just continue to hopefully keep getting better. Awesome. Well, unless we have any other last minute questions, I think that's a great note to end our Q&A on. And like I said, can always reach out to LandTrust with any other questions. If you missed stuff early on, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to help. But yeah, thank you all for joining. And Jody and Bob, thank you very much for taking the time out of your evening to answer some questions for folks. And we're really excited about what the future holds for us and your partnership with LandTrust.
Happy to do it. Thanks.
All righty. Thank you guys, and everybody have a great evening and a Merry Christmas here.
Thanks, Colton. Thank you, Jody. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night.